Got it.
Okay. Oh, come here. You're on camera. He's counting.
Good afternoon, Cary Rotary Club.
Afternoon.
Well, it's great to see everybody today on February 22nd, 2022. Yes, it is. 2/22/22. Wow. So, and it is Tuesday, so it's a historic day to be at the Cary Rotary Club. Can I call on Darren Gay to please lead us in the prayer and the pledge?
Dear Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity for us to come together as this club. I see the numbers here are growing, and that is awesome to see, Lord, as the COVID numbers continue to decline. There's so many decisions that are being made right now. I would just ask that you be with our leaders, that they make the right decisions for all of those involved. Lord, around the world, there's lots going on also, and we would just ask that you have your hand in that and guide those decision makers, and hopefully make the right decisions for all people involved. Thank you to this food to nourish our bodies, Lord. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll see who the gutsy ones are. We do have several visitors and guests, so Tim Mannix, would you please do the honors?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. You have a guest here today, don't you?
Yes, I'd like to introduce Brant Rubin. Brant, go ahead and stand up.
Grant, you want to tell us where you're from?
Yeah, I live over in Lockyer down the road. I work in Kildare Farm. I've been in Cary for about 2 years and been looking for a good way to get involved in the community and continue to help our beautiful home grow. So I'm excited to be here as a guest of yours.
Excellent.
Thank you, Brant. Welcome.
Patricia, you got a couple of guests.
Yes. I have Jean Hetherington, who is a neighbor of mine at Templeton now, and she's the one who helped me get this speaker who's coming later. Jean used to show English bulldogs, and she's a judge for dog shows, and so she's an interesting neighbor to have. Thank you for coming today, Jean.
Welcome, Jean.
President, I think that's about it.
Terrific. Thank you, Tim. I do want to acknowledge one other member in waiting. Kim Riley continues to join us, and we'll have an induction for her very shortly. Well, we're looking forward to the pomp and circumstance very much. Just as we turn quickly to club business, I wanted to share with you a note that we received from Patsy Johnson, Howard Johnson's wife. She writes, thanks to the club for the fruit basket received during Howard's recent medical event. It was a big hit and a big bright spot to our day. Thanks also for the prayers and concerns during this time. Hopefully he's on the mend and will be out and about soon. So that's from Patsy Johnson. We have several members of our chili committee here today bearing gifts. So can I call them forward to the lectern to for some presentations? Luck be a lady tonight.
Luck be a lady tonight. And some of you may be unlucky. These are all the mail we got returned. Members of the club. So if you don't know what DAC-DB is, see Paul, our secretary, afterwards, and make sure that your address is up to date in DAC-DB. And now presenting Scott Snyder.
Well, thank you, Jim. We're gonna knock right.
And we have Arthur Anderson here with the computers.
What are you presenting with?
We're presenting gifts, prizes that are a result of some give backs from our recent chili dinner raffle. So we felt it was best to give our membership another opportunity to earn and win some fabulous gifts, very fabulous gifts. So if you all, I'm sure you all know your ticket numbers. So, but good news is Ken's going to pull the numbers up. We'll know who wins. So we're going to burn right through this. We've got about 55 gifts to get through. So
We'll do it quick.
yes, quick. All right. So gift number one, ticket number 154-720-95. I didn't know.
Stylist Studios.
Who?
Stylist Studios.
Stylist Studios.
What do they win, Scott?
I gotta be here.
Well, that's a good question, Ron. Thank you.
First, that's the first.
They have won an Academy Street Bistro $50 gift card. Very nice. Very nice. I'm gonna jiggle this up. All right, second is gonna be, this is gonna be for a butcher's market. Card, $25, correct? Yep. And the coupon number, ticket number 080-854-36.
Drum roll. The winner is 080-854-36. Well, we'll figure it out. Let's keep going. Otherwise we're gonna get the hook.
All right, the next this is for another $25 gift card from the Butcher's Market, local merchant, 080-855-95.
Okay.
Hmm? 808-5595. Try it without the zero.
Oh, he doesn't want.
Yes. Smith Sandlin Wealth Plan. Smith Sandlin Wealth Plan.
Smith Sandlin Wealth Plan. Excellent, congratulations. All right, next is gonna be another $25 gift card, Butcher's Market, 808-434-9.
George Jordan Development.
George Jordan Development Company. George, congratulations. All right, we've got just a couple more. 154-720-91. Another one.
Is, believe it or not, I went to Stylus Studios again.
Oh.
Wow.
They go, he winner. They got 22.
Congratulations.
By the state sponsor, they got 22.
Yep. All right, and this is our last one.
Whatever you got. Yeah.
So this is just our last Butcher Market. This is going to be 808-5735.
That's Harrison Company Insurance.
Harrison Company Insurance.
And that took over John Miller's.
Excellent. Congratulations. And our last one, Home Depot gift card, $50. I'm going deep on this. All right, here we go. Last one. Everybody fired up? All right. 808-5757.
That's the Hatchers.
The Hatchers. The Hatchers. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you, gentlemen. The audit results of that drawing process will be available online, I suspect.
We'll put it online.
Before we go to our program. The energy level just goes up. Before we get started with our program, any miracle moments? Mr. Bill Fletcher.
Yes, sir. We are proud to announce that our youngest child, Matthew, and his wife, Katie, will soon be having another child. Will be our 5th grandchild. We don't know whether it's a boy or a girl yet, but come middle of August, we'll all know.
Congratulations, Bill. Rod Brooks.
I'm very happy to say that my daughter Vivian turns 13 this Friday.
Happy birthday, Vivian. Way to go. Anyone else? Darren.
For 3 days in a row now, the COVID numbers across the state have gone down. As you all know, there's lots of discussion about masks or not masks. So please just stay tuned and hopefully those numbers continue to decline and maybe we can put this thing in the rear view mirror.
Thank you, Darren. Amen to that. Anyone else? Anybody online with a miracle moment? Not today. Okay, great. With that then, Pat Hudson, can I invite you forward to introduce our speaker?
I want to thank Jean again for lining up the speaker for me. And since you've already met, Jean's been introduced. Mari-Beth is going to introduce herself. because she'll tell us what she wants us to. Mari-Beth O'Neill.
Thank you. This is an honor to be able to be here to speak with you all today. My name is Mari-Beth O'Neill. I am the Vice President of Sport Services at the American Kennel Club. I have been a resident of Cary for over October 31st of 1997, so a few years I've been here now. Relocated from Manhattan, where I was in our main office up there. But I have been a lifelong participant in AKC events, purebred dogs, a breeder, exhibitor, and a judge. And I'm one of the lucky people who was able to make my hobby into my actual career. I was a teacher prior to being an employee at the AKC, and my first job was in judges education, where we created programs for judges. So, but now I'm just going to give you an overview about the American Kennel Club and a little bit of its history. We are the second oldest registry in the world, the oldest being the Kennel Club in England. We were formed in 1884. Our mission statement, founded in 1884, the AKC's affiliated organizations advocate for the purebred dog as a family companion, advance canine health and well-being, work to protect the rights of all dog owners, and promote responsible dog ownership. The American Kennel Club is dedicated to upholding the integrity of its registry, promoting the sport of purebred dogs and breeding type for function. Thank you. So we have two office locations. Our corporate headquarters are in Manhattan, currently at 101 Park Avenue, pretty fancy digs. They moved our operations center down here in the late 80s. Originally, the first office was in Durham. Then we moved to Jones Franklin Road until 2008. And now our offices are out in Briar Creek. We moved into that building when it was first completed. The AKC's original purpose, and still its fundamental purpose, is to be a registry for purebred dogs. And we now also incorporate a listing for all dogs. So you don't have to have a purebred dog to have an AKC number. That allows those dogs to compete in some of our events as well. And along with maintaining that registry for the dogs, which is their lineage, we also now oversee over 20,000 events each year. And in doing so, we license the clubs and oversee the events and the rules and everything that goes along with them. We have a unique structure, and our original founding fathers who met in Philadelphia also to form the American Kennel Club, made it a club of clubs. So the clubs are the members of the American Kennel Club, and each member club has a representative who then participates in our quarterly meetings. And there are now over 600 member clubs. So that fortunately they don't all show up. But they vote on our board of directors and on rules that pertain to AKC dog shows and to field trials and field trials. So we are the purebred dog family. We will hit 200 breeds, AKC recognized breeds, July 1. The 200th breed that will be recognized is the Bracco Italiano, a sporting pointer, an Italian pointing breed. Very lovely. We divide the different breeds into 7 different groups: the sporting group, hound, working, terrier, toy, non-sporting, herding. And then we have another 87 breeds that we have in our foundation stock service, which is breeds that are recognized in other parts of the world, that there may be representatives of those breeds here in this country, that people want either a means for their records to be kept by us and a means to then seek recognition for those new breeds. And I have the pleasure and misfortune some days of working with the people in those breeds seeking recognition of their breeds. As with any group, every breed is represented by a parent club. So there's a national organization for each breed of dogs that works with the American Kennel Club for that breed. And like any group, there are challenges working within a group of individuals. And and it's that breed club then that writes the standard of perfection for that breed. So, purebred dogs. Why purebred dogs? Why not any dog? Well, purebred dogs give us an opportunity to have some things that we can already will know about those particular breeds in most instances. We have a lot of predictability when we have a purebred dog. We can describe some personality and temperament traits of that breed. We can estimate its size. We know its physical characteristics are going to be. And we also have a very good idea of what kind of activity level that breed will have. I mean, because purebred dogs all were created in some mean or fashion and domesticated by man and chosen for specific traits. So the earliest of those breeds, going back as we are aware of them through art and archaeology, as late as the early as the Egyptians, and seeing sighthounds in the tombs of the Egyptians, whether they be guarding, but in most instances, all of the different breeds were used originally to be some form of assistance in providing food for the table, in guarding the food, guarding the flocks, helping to work the flocks. And then as they continued to evolve, they performed other functions. As guns were evolved, it changed the way man hunted. So we went from hunting with falcons and hunting with nets, which was the original way that setters were used to hunt. They would find the bird and they point it and set, and then the hunters would come and throw a net over them. And now they shoot them, the birds, hopefully, instead. And or the game, which they are pursuing. Terriers came into being very important in England in the 1800s as a result of unfortunate infestation of vermin. So before we had other means of extermination, terriers were our main use, frequently left in establishments overnight to rid the place of all kinds of vermin that might be there, to the extent that they even had contests on rat killing. How fast could a dog kill as many rats in a period of time? And that was actually one of my original breeds, was the Manchester Terrier, that were particularly good at rat killing. And then our breeds evolved. Now, as these breeds evolved to do these specific functions to do a job, they were those functions or those traits that they did, the dogs that did the best part of their jobs, they were selected for those traits. And now those traits have become instinctual in those breeds, which is how we can predict their both temperament and their activity levels. So for those of us who had experience with herding breeds, they need a job. Australian Shepherds, Border Collies, things like that. They need a job. They are busy. And if they don't have a job, they become disruptive. Other breeds that perform their work in different ways that you may have seen or been familiar with, a Shetland Sheepdog or a Border Collie, as when they work at herding, they bark. That characteristic is still ingrained in them. They bark. So if you don't want a noisy, barky dog, you don't get Shetland Sheepdog or Border Collie. But all these traits that were ingrained in these dogs as man selected for them, and especially ones that we had breeds that were made to do a specific job to be a guard dog. The Doberman Pinscher was created by a man named Louis Doberman. He was a tax collector in Germany, and he wanted a dog that would be his faithful companion, but would protect him from anyone. And those traits were selected and bred into that breed, and they are instinctually good guard dogs, great family pets, great with their own, they're the ones who are to be accepted, and that pertains to most of our guard dogs. So all of these traits that were originally selected for these different breeds have, since we don't need so much help to put food on our table any longer, we have transformed that easily trainable, biddable, willing to work, desire to work, and of course, the key thing that dogs have above all else is their olfactory skills. All of those skills now have been transformed and are used for other kinds of work. They perform their assistance dogs. We were talking about the guide dogs. Detection dogs. We have a shortage of detection dogs in this country, and I'll get to that a little further. Our military dogs, search and rescue dogs, etc. And of course, therapy dogs. Any dog can be a therapy dog as long as it has its basic training and you work with a therapy dog organization. And it's wonderful to have animals come and visit at whether it be a hospital, nursing home, school, children, even in the workplace. They're great to have. So, as a result of all the different things that dogs were originally bred to do, in addition to, probably you've all seen the Conformation Dog Show on television. One of them, there's several now that you can see on TV, from Westminster Kennel Club in New York, which is the second oldest sporting event in our country, behind the Kentucky Derby, to more recently, the National Dog Show that's held that you can see on Thanksgiving Day, which has become very popular. Those are conformation. That's where dogs are being evaluated on their structure based on their breed standard. Very, very subjective. But we've also created events that mimic what some of these breeds were bred to do originally. So for the dogs that were bred to do field work and hunt, we have different kinds of field trials and hunt tests. For basic training, there's obedience. An offshoot, then we've created other events that relate to some basic training. Rally is a little less structured than obedience. Agility is exceedingly popular. It's an obstacle course that you're timed to run through with your dog. Scent work, exactly what it is, identifying different scents. And one of the newest things we've established is just tricks, teaching your dog to do tricks. And people love to teach their dogs to do tricks. And during COVID, we adjusted as well, and we allowed people to submit results for tricks and rally. And there's another test for people who do retriever work, where they have to do a basic retrieve, a water retrieve. You can do it virtually. Film your dog, submit it. It's evaluated by one of our judges and pass or not. And that's allowed people who wouldn't necessarily have been able to go out anywhere. And even people in other countries participated in our events throughout COVID, virtually. Okay, I talked a little bit about conformation dog shows. This is where the individual breed is judged against its breed standard by the judge. So if you can get it, it's thinking. This is very complex information. All right. It just likes that slide. So we have Old English sheepdogs and Siberians and Bassets being evaluated. Okay, if we go on one more, we'll pass this. Some of our newest breeds that we've welcomed. This is the Beaver Terrier. They joined the AKC in the end of 2020. They actually were developed in Germany. Yes, it looks like a Yorkshire Terrier, probably with some other breeds crossed in. Very cute. Little bigger than a Yorkie. Next. And then the two breeds that we recognize, the first of this year is the Moody, which is a Hungarian herding breed related to the Pumi and the Puli. All different types of coats on these dogs. And then the one on the right is the Russian Toy, a small, very small companion dog. A very, that's what toy dogs are, they're small companion dogs. Only I will tell you, these toy breeds, they need as much, we were talking about having structure and discipline and consistency for our animals. Toy dogs are the worst because they don't know they're small dogs. They all think they're big dogs. So they usually, I always say they need to be shaken at least once first. So a couple of our departments that people don't realize that the AKC also has. We have a department, government relations. We actually monitor legislation throughout the country that pertains to anything to do with canines, with owning dogs, breeding dogs, dogs that relate to medical care, for example, a mandatory spay-neuter bill, dangerous dog laws. We monitor all these things and help to make certain that the rights of all dog owners, promoting responsible dog ownership and ensuring that laws governing dog ownership and breeding are reasonable, enforceable, and non-discriminatory. And that specifically, there are laws in some places that will discriminate against a specific breed, bull breeds. We don't, those and that's very frustrating because almost every municipality has laws on their book against vicious dogs, against noise. So there are already means to protect your community. You don't need to be breed specific. So in 2021, we monitored over 3,200 bills. It's been very active. But one of the things this department has done is developed a detection dog task force, which I mentioned earlier, that we have a shortage of detection dogs that are actually bred and raised in this country. And detection dogs are the ones that go through a stadium, the dogs we see at the airport, any place there's a gathering to determine if there's been anything that shouldn't be in that building. So we are working to help encourage the breeding of more of these dogs here in this country so that we have a better defense for all of us. And we mentioned therapy dogs earlier. Any dog can be a therapy dog. It does not have to be a purebred dog, as long as they have the basic training and the affiliation with the therapy organization. We offer therapy dog titles now, though, so to encourage and to recognize and acknowledge the people who are doing that wonderful work with their dogs in the community. One of our newest programs, which was established under the same parameters of the American Heart Association, and especially I love to see, I live over in Wimbledon, and there are lots of us walk our dogs every day. And so walking is good for you and good for your dog. This being the American Heart Association's Heart Wellness Month, I heard a great commercial the other day, get up off your sofa and get out and walk your dog. It's good for you, it's good for your dog. So we have a Fit Dog program where it's your own pledge. You pledge that you walked a certain amount of time, 5 days a week, minimum of 30 minutes a day, and you can earn a magnet. And we're working on a title that will go along with that and some additional other programs. But what's also you could do is have a Fit Dog Club. And any organization could be a Fit Dog Club and just organize to have a walk. It doesn't have to be, and just do it 4 times a year and do 4 walks. Lots of organizations sponsor dog walks, and a great way to socialize, get together, do a little exercise, and have fun. A couple of our organizations that are affiliates, one is the American Kennel Club's Canine Health Foundation. It's celebrating its 20th or 25th anniversary. 25th was last year. Anyway, this organization we've so far has distributed about $64 million to research. And it's not the research that's done, the funds come from individuals, clubs, organizations, but the research is then can be done for anything that can be related to dogs. But many of the things, and a lot of the first information that was researched was to identify the canine genome. And why is that significant? Because the canine genome is very similar to the human genome. And in identifying the genes in dogs that cause certain diseases, it's helped us identify the genes in humans. One in my breed specifically is FN, which is a kidney disease, which has helped identify it for humans. Interesting research that's going on over at state right now is, if you didn't know, leading authority in the country on vector-borne diseases, tick-borne diseases, is at state. And we're learning more and more and more about what those vector-borne diseases and what they may really be the root of. And it's kind of scary that they may even be the root of some cancers that we see. So more news to come, but happening right here at our vet school. AKC Reunite is another one of our affiliates. This was originally formed as a microchip, a means of identification for any animal. And there allegedly is even a saddle that's microchipped. But so if you have a lost animal, that if your dog has been, or cat, guinea pig, whatever has been microchipped, if it's enrolled in this database, it can be reunited with you as a person. But they also do a lot of philanthropic work. They developed this trailer system where in natural disasters, they can be dispersed. The trailers have all kinds of equipment that may be needed for animals. If you remember after Katrina, there were so many people that wouldn't leave their homes because they didn't want to leave their pets, because their shelters would not take animals. So as a result, this program was formed. There's a map, I think, next that shows where all the trailers are now in different municipalities throughout the country. AKC clubs help fund these, as well as AKC, as well as Reunite. You know, it's like a 50-50 deal. Club puts up half the money and the Reunite puts up half. But the next greatest thing that they're doing is the Reunite Adopt a Cop. So our local kennel clubs, the Cary Kennel Club, which I'm a member of, has just contributed to this, and we've purchased with AKC Reunite 2 police dogs for our local communities, one in Fuquay Varina and one in Holly Springs. Cary did not need our help. We offered to Cary first, but they are fully funded, which is great. So every organization, all of our police organizations, the dog is very useful for their work. And then the last is our affiliates, our Humane Fund. This is an organization, another affiliate that helps provide sponsorship and grants, and specifically one of the ones is to shelters that allow pets to come. So they offer some grant money to them and some scholarship money. And our Humane Fund donated to many of the natural disasters to help support things that have gone on throughout the country. And the unfortunate, we seem to have more weather disasters each year. It's one crazy thing after another. And last is our AKC Museum of the Dog. If you are ever in Manhattan, it is on the first floor at 101 Park. It's absolutely beautiful. A history of our dogs, a lot depicted through all sorts of wonderful artwork. And that's it. We're more than champion dogs. We are the dog's champion. I did mention that we have a means for any dog. So if you have a mixed breed dog and you want to participate in an event, any of our companion events and some of the performance events, any dog can compete in. So but you need to obtain a number. It's called a canine partner number. And you can enter, or if you've gone to training classes and you feel confident and want to try it, you might like it. Try it virtually first if you want to. It's a great social activity. And I'll do an infomercial. We have our upcoming dog shows starting here March 9th, Wednesday, March 9th is Cary Kennel Club. And then over the next 4 days, it's Alamance, Durham, Raleigh, and Fayetteville Kennel Clubs at the Jim Graham Building at the fairgrounds. So March 9th to March 13th, if you're interested in seeing a dog show. And with that, happy to take any questions and or have a great day. Yes, sir.
So I have two questions.
Yes, sir.
First is you spoke about dogs being bred for certain skills and such. I presume that took place in natural breeding processes. So I'm curious about, are there genetic breeding processes that are
So one of the things, as responsible breeders, we have each parent club recommends certain health testing that occurs. And, yes, we select who we breed our dogs to and create our own families as breeders. I currently breed English Cocker Spaniels. We have multiple health tests that we do. I currently have a litter of 7 puppies in Tennessee, and as a result, we've been able to eliminate one of the first diseases that was recognized in multiple breeds, was PRA, which is progressive retinal atrophy. We have eliminated, we can eliminate it. And it allows you to do selected, educated decisions about your breeding. And your second question?
Well, my second question is for our club members, and I wanted to know, is it in fact impossible to use the old dog age?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sorry.
That's where the treats come in. Yes, sir.
You talk about recognizing new breeds, and I assume those come from crossbreeding of other breeds. Is there like, you have to do that for a certain number of generations before it's called a new breed?
So the breeds that we currently have in our foundation stock service are ones that have been recognized by countries and anywhere else in the world. We have an agreement that we'll recognize a breed that's recognized in a registry that we recognize. And eventually, yes, all these breeds were developed by some people crossing things. What our rule of thumb now is that they have to have 40 years of documentation of 3-generation pure of that, what they're thinking they're creating. So, and there's some that I've been working with that they're 20 years, and I thought this will be someone else's problem to deal with in 20 more years. Yeah, so there is a process, and they have to have a club, and they have to have a certain number of dogs, and they have to behave, and the people and the dogs have to behave, and go on.
In Egyptian society, the pharaohs inbred, and that caused genetic problems. Are there genetic problems that are caused by the, I guess you'd have to have some inbreeding.
Absolutely.
Dog truth.
Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily approval. There are countries in the world where they have what they call a dog warden that will actually approve a breeding that breeders may choose to do. We are in the United States of America, so we don't do that. But one of the examples is the Merle gene, which is a color. And so collies, Shelties can be Merles. Merle, if you breed Merle to Merle, you can actually become, they'll lose their eyes. There's hearing deficiencies. So this is why, as responsible breeders, understand what the health issues may be in their breed, and you choose to hopefully select not to make those breedings. So as I gave the example in my breed, where we have a couple tests, genetic tests, where they're recessive traits. So you can have a dog that's a carrier that you can breed to a non-affected dog. So that you'll end up with a 50-50 chance that you'll have some carriers, but you'll have 50-50 chance that you'll have 50% of them won't be affected. So yes, you have to have a little genetics maybe, or someone to help you. And that's, we have a great community of resources. Yes, sir.
What is the most popular breed in North Carolina?
So do you know what the North Carolina state breed is?
Yes.
The plow. I don't think it's the most popular though. The most popular breed has been the Labrador for many, many years. And I think they probably are right up there here in North Carolina, as well as the Golden Retriever, equally is one of the most popular. It's interesting to see all the dogs that I see in my neighborhood, just walking around in Wimbledon that are purebred dogs. Even one of our more recently recognized breed, there's a Spanish water dog walking around in Wimbledon, I see, so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have two German Shepherds. One of them is recognized by the American Kennel and one is not. One is from Germany. He's the one that's not.
You could, if you have an export pedigree from Germany, you could register him with the AKC.
But at the dog shows, they only show the version that's American, which is the light tan and black. And I've never seen in any of the German Shepherd shows, the German, in American context, the black and just sometimes no collar.
Actually, there was a couple very good black ones shown the last couple of years that did some best in showing.
So they both are the same?
Absolutely. There are people who have their own personal preferences, which is part of understanding the breed standard, who choose, they prefer the black and tan or sable versus a solid black. But, and when I was doing judges education, I would put on events where I would have demonstrations of what each of the breeds were bred to do originally. And then we would also then evaluate them for their conformation. And one of the most wonderful things, German Shepherds work differently than some of the other herding breeds. They were put out to be a natural barrier on a field because there weren't fences, and they moved the flocks from pasture to pasture. And they would mark, the dogs would be given a line and say, you know, this line and this line, and two dogs would work together opposite each other and work the field. And they'd be going back and forth like this to prevent the sheep from leaving, but also to be wary of anyone that would be coming. And the dogs that were doing this demonstration were out there, and they had this very methodical trot. And as soon as a busload of our students were arriving, and this dog, and it was a black dog, all of a sudden you saw him kick into overdrive. He never broke stride, but it was just the most beautiful thing to see a dog in that natural gait and come to attention and watch these people come in, and they weren't coming anywhere near his sheep, that's for certain. So it's, but thank you. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate the opportunity, and enjoy.
Cary Miller is a
oh, how beautiful
member of our clubs and artists, and would like to present that to you.
Thank you.
Local scenes of Cary. My son has 5 border collies. They've done agility
Oh,
training.
great.
A lot, so
Good,
yeah.
you are familiar with what we're talking about.
Oh, yes.
And being herded by them.
Oh, yes. High energy.
Good for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Mari-Beth, for, wow, that club, the AKC obviously does an awful lot. Struck me how similar the structure is to a club that's near and dear to your heart. We've got a couple of people to recognize today. Krista Lemery has a birthday coming up on the 25th, which I guess is Friday, so happy birthday to Krista. David Coulter heads up. Someone special in your life has a birthday coming up as well on the 28th, so happy birthday to Susan. And if you see Gary Shabra, he'll be celebrating 20 years in the Cary Rotary Club on the 26th on Saturday, so congratulate him. Next week, we've got a terrific program, as I mentioned last week, very timely. Leon has arranged to have Vitaly Bezrodnov, and I'm hoping that's somewhere close to correct, join us next week to talk about children in the Ukraine. Keep our fingers crossed for the people in Ukraine, first and foremost. But Vitaly has also been ill, so we're hoping he'll recover He's assured us he'll be hale and hearty to join us next week. We'll enjoy a meal of lasagna with sauteed carrots and garlic bread or a salad bar. And in 2 weeks, Dr. Howells arranged to have David McLennan, who's a professor at Meredith College and a political analyst, to come and speak about, things that don't get anybody's adrenaline pumping. So we'll look forward to that program. I definitely, as we head out into the afternoon, I want to thank you, Gene, for both joining us and helping Pat to arrange to have Mari-Beth with us. Mari-Beth, thank you so much for your attendance and information. Brant, thank you for joining us today. We hope you've had a great experience. Don't be surprised if you get buttonholed on the way out by a few people asking you to come back. All right. So as we conclude today, can I ask Mr. Paul Sauce? Oh, before I ask Paul to lead us out, I do want to make a quick apology to our folks online. We had some technical issues along the way and the Wi-Fi dropped here at McGregor. So you all were drifting in cyberspace. I want to apologize for that. Thank you for your patience and staying with it.
They need to be here. They need to be here.
Well, there were a few people here lost in cyberspace too. But I think you're right, Jim. Paul Sauceman, will you lead us out?
The things we think, say, or do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Last year, which was not. Let me talk to Rob about it. But I would need So Ken, do you have someplace that's your favorite?
Get down to Home Depot, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Just in the center.
Yeah.
Crystal Weather. Just across the street.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that works. Hey man, how you doing? So I guess we're gonna do it next week. End up well. David is thinking we may need some